One way to reach, but
No, I won't be in your way at all.
no, you're fine.
How about if I stand right there?
You guys are on the wrong side. Get over here.
There we go. I wonder. Yeah, I mean, having them in the background was kind of good.
File out. Guys, huddle up. It's cold out there, so huddle up and be warmer.
She should be here from Warren County, so she's not in the area. Yeah. Do you want to get the other one? Do you guys need any audio?
I think I'm good.
Hey, Wayne, do you have that guy back of you that his sign's upside down? Yeah, I think so.
We've been upside down for a long time.
Right in front of them.
All right.
So last Sunday I saw
Dave, are you okay with the Dave, are you okay with the shot?
she was going to grab him. I'm sure you would.
All right, good morning, everyone. We are up bright and early in San Diego, where, frankly, I gotta say, a lot of Prop 6 originated, because without the support of San Diegans, we would not have been able to get on the ballot. Over 203,000 signatures of the million signatures collected statewide came from San Diego County, which is a record. There is an error on your ballot. There is an error on your ballot. The politicians intentionally are trying to deceive you. They are trying to defraud you of an honest election because they took a simple initiative that only has 3 sentences. Sentence 1 repeals the gas tax increase. Sentence 2 repeals the car tax imposed on working families. And sentence 3 says that politicians can never raise the car or gas taxes again without a vote of the people. Those are 3 very simple sentences. A 3rd grader can figure it out, but apparently a Sacramento politician cannot. And worse than that, 1 million Californians. Half those signatures came from Democrats and independents. This is as bipartisan an outcry against taxes as you can get. 1 million Californians signed the petition for those 3 sentences to be added to our state constitution. And the title of the petition that 1 million Californians signed to place Prop 6 on the ballot said, "The Gas and Car Tax Repeal Initiative of 2018. But when the ballots were printed, the politicians took a red pen and struck that title out, and they put their own poll-tested title on the ballot. They did polling and focus groups to try to figure out what words are going to confuse the voters the most, what words are going to scare the voters the most. And so when you open up your ballot and you look for the gas tax repeal, you will not find it. You will look at Prop 6, and instead of gas tax repeal, it will say eliminates road repair revenues, and our initiative does no such thing. In fact, our plan, which we released at the very beginning of this campaign, was that you don't have to raise taxes on working families with a regressive, costly, unfair tax to fix our roads. In fact, if you dedicate 100% of the gas tax, the lowered gas tax rate, to roads, you'll be able to spend an additional $2.3 billion a year, every year, on road repairs, more than what the politicians have decided in a crumb-like fashion to toss towards our roads. No, the politicians do not want to fix our roads. They're not about filling potholes. They're more interested in filling their pension hole to support the outrageous, unsustainable spending on government bureaucracies. And that's what this tax hike is going to be going towards. We want road repairs. We want traffic congestion relief. We're not going to get that by simply raising taxes on working families. We're going to get that by fundamentally altering and changing how Sacramento spends the existing gas tax. That is what we are about. That is what a yes vote will give every Californian. Not a higher tax bill, but accountability on the existing taxes we already provide our state legislators. We are being outspent $40 million to $2.5 million. $40 million to $2.5. Oh, and by the way, that doesn't count the gas tax funds Caltrans is using to promote the repeal, the no vote. That's extra money that they were caught with their hand in the cookie jar using taxpayer money to campaign, which is illegal. But it's never been a fair fight. While they have the money, we have the message. And we need you to be the messenger in your neighborhood, at your work, everywhere you go in the next 2.5 weeks. Let people know that there is an error on your ballot and Prop 6 was intentionally mislabeled by the politicians in an attempt to defraud you and deceive you and fool you and confuse you. That a yes vote on Prop 6 is actually the gas tax repeal initiative. And that message, once we get that message out, we will win, no matter how much money they hurl at us and spend at us, no matter how much deception. So, this statewide bus tour will be making stops up and down the state of California. We're giving out free lawn signs, gas pump stickers, all that information so that people know the truth. And we are very pleased that there are good elected officials who are trying to stop the fraud in Sacramento, who are trying to reform local transportation agencies. We have candidates who actually want to replace the people who are lying to us right now, who changed the ballot title. I don't want to do another initiative. They're too hard. It's a lot of work. I'd rather have our elected officials vote in a manner consistent with the priorities of working families in California. So sometimes, yes, you need to get a ballot measure and vote yes on something like Prop 6, but other times you just need to change the leaders that we're sending to Sacramento and to City Hall. I want to thank some of those leaders and invite them up to make comment. First, we would not be here today without the leadership of State Senator Pat Bates. She represents us. She represents San Diego, the northern portion of San Diego, and she's done an amazing job of that. She's the only, she's one of the only reasonable voices that we have up there for all working families in San Diego. Pat Bates.
Thank you, Carl, and oh my gosh, this is so great to see you all out, because you all understand that this is about what? R-E-P-A-L, repeal the gas tax. And that is so important because this is not a 10-year plan, guys. This is a forever plan unless it's repealed now. The only other way to change this is another initiative or have a 2/3 majority in your state house that would actually undo it. That will not happen because they're the ones that put it on the ballot. So we have to repeal it. And let me share with you, here is the real interesting part of this. We're hearing all this fear-mongering that our first responders can't get to us because if we don't keep this in and have the money to repair our roads, they won't be able to reach us. How do they get there? They get there when there's no congestion on the roads. That increases response time. There is no congestion relief in this plan. Actually, only $250 million annually goes to any sort of congestion relief. You know what that is, guys? That's managed lanes. You know what managed lanes are? They are toll lanes. So your taxes are going to pay for toll lanes, and you're going to pay to ride on them. Is that right? It is totally wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong. It's so deceptive. So pay attention. $2 billion over that $250 million goes for transit. Transit does not take us to our workplaces in most of Southern California and in the Bay Area. So we have more dedicated to transit, we have more dedicated to parks, and guess what? Your local governments, they're planning transportation improvements now. You know how they get their money? They have to agree to what's called complete streets. You know what complete streets are? That's the road diet. You have to take away a lane, put in pedestrian and bike lanes to get your money if you want to go forward with your local government transportation improvement plan. So bear this in mind, share this with your neighbors, your friends. Tell them to repeal, and have them spell it. R-E-P-A-L. Because if we do not repeal it, it will go on forever. And finally, it's tied to inflation. So it goes up every year. This year it's 9 cents. Starting in January, it's going to be 12 or 13 cents, and on and on and on. By the time we get to 2020, it'll probably be $6 a gallon. And we will be forced to walk, ride our bikes, or maybe catch that once in a while bus that comes our way. So anyway, stay with us. We will overcome. We shall win this.
Part of this gas tax increase is a Enron-style accounting trick to increase gas prices through an administrative vote of the Board of Equalization. Well, the Sacramento politicians weren't counting on Diane Harkey to block that administrative Enron-style accounting change that would have increased the cost of gas in California. So she was able to stop a portion of this tax hike. If we don't vote yes on Prop 6, it'll come back. And that's why I want to thank Diane Harkey for being a tax fighter. She's running for Congress now in the 49th District here in San Diego. Diane.
Thank you all for coming and supporting this effort. This is absolutely amazing. Are you tired of your tax dollars being stolen? Yes! Do you know that $1 billion was stolen in 2011 to go into the state's general fund to backfill your local transportation dollars? That's what happened to that. These dollars that are coming on this gas tax that we're trying to repeal, so it's yes on 6, yes on 6, yes on 6, actually will go into the general fund. The general fund, and it can be tapped at any time that the state decides that there's just not quite enough money yet. So there you go, on your $1 billion that was already stolen. They will take this money and use it for their whatever cause they want, and you never got that $1 billion back. And so that was the 4% increase of the flip of the gas tax. Very confusing formula that we declined at the Board of Equalization. I led the fight on that. And I gotta tell you, anything that you can do. I mean, are your roads congested now? Yes. Can you get around now? No. Okay, do you need more one-lane cut so that you can get one lane in somewhere else? No. No, this is just fraud. It's forcing you to take bikes, get on trains, hose off at the depot, and try to get to work. Now that does not work. That does not work with my hair and heels. I cannot do that, and I will not do that. So thank you very much for showing up. Keep up the fight. This is a good and worthy fight, and we can win it. Yes on 6, yes on 6, yes on 6. Thank you.
Marie Waldron knows about the state of California roads because I know personally she actually commutes to Sacramento from Escondido by car. That is a long drive. It's a lot of gas tax that she's going to have to pay. And she knows that this gas tax is not going to go to fix roads. And she knows that this gas tax is going to hurt working families. Marie?
Thank you so much. It's great to be here and see all these wonderful people who are standing up for our hardworking Californians, our veterans, our seniors, our single income households, all of us struggling every day to make ends meet, and we're paying more at the pump because of it. there's a couple of things that they haven't told us. Some of the things that they won't tell you with this gas tax is that over $1 billion a year since 2010 is being diverted, and it continues to be diverted, and that was on the existing gas tax that we had before. This is the third gas tax they've imposed on us. 80% of the revenue of that second gas tax has been diverted and will continue. There's no protections in this SB1 that created this. The second thing that they won't tell you is that cap and trade taxes are coming in. By 2021, we may be paying an additional 63 cents a gallon on top of all these other taxes. If you repeal this gas tax, those other cap and trades will more than compensate for the revenue. The part 3 that they're not telling us is that transportation is not even a budget priority. I've served in the legislature now for 6 years, and it is not a budget priority. Not one new additional funding source has been created for transportation in 7 years, yet our budget spending has increased by 45%. What I have to say is this gas tax is a giant ripoff, and it's time that we repeal it.
Last week we released a report showing the waste, fraud, and abuse of our existing gas tax funds in each region of the state of California. There's an agency in San Diego called SANDAG, the San Diego Association of Governments. 44% of their employees earn $100,000 or more, and SANDAG is spending $75 million of our gas tax monies on a temporary bus parking lot at a cost of $4,166,000 per parking space. Well, it's got to go along with the gold-plated buses. The gold-plated parking spots go with gold-plated buses because San Diego Metropolitan Transit System is spending 3 times the national average on their transit buses. Jim Desmond is mayor of San Marcos. He's running for San Diego County Board of Supervisors. He's been in the belly of the beast. He served on the SANDAG board. He spoke out against this waste. Jim.
Thank you very much, Paul. Yes, I voted for that downtown bus transit center because it was taking money from our roads and our freeways and causing more congestion. But don't believe the people who tell you that you're not going to get your roads fixed. Don't believe that those signs that the state paid for up and down our freeways that tell you that if you take this money away, your roads are not going to get fixed. Your roads will get fixed. This is about hiring a contractor, similar to hiring a contractor at your house to do a job. And you pay, and you pay, and you pay. And you finally say, hey, where's my roads? Where's my job? And how come this isn't done yet? And they say, oh, well, if you want this done, you have to pay again. You have to pay double. And because we are the state legislature, the Democrats in the state legislature, we're not only going to just take that money, we're going to tax you and make sure you pay this twice for the roads that you've already paid for. We got to make sure that we don't continue to get ripped off. We're not paying double, and they do what they promised they said they would do with the original gas tax, and that's fix our roads. Thank you.
On this bus tour, we are going to be joined by a number of statewide candidates. Konstantinos Roudidis is running for state comptroller, and what he has said is that when elected, his first act will be to cancel the high-speed rail train. Because the politicians lied to us on that ballot, they broke their promise, and now they are out of compliance with the law. I want to invite him up for some remarks. Costas?
In California, over 1 in 5 Californians live in poverty. Just think about that. 1 in 5 live in poverty. 47% consider themselves working poor. Can you guys hear me fine? Or no? 37% of Californians consider themselves working poor. You have the highest poverty in the entire nation. And what do we get from Sacramento politicians? More and more taxes and less accountability. Prior to the SB1 tax hike, only 20% of the gas tax was going towards road repairs. The Reason Foundation did a study and showed that we pay up to 470% more to maintain a mile of highway than other states. Do these politicians forgot what they went up there to do?
Yeah.
Do they not share our California values of protecting the poor and the working class and trying to make California affordable for all Californians? They have forgotten that, and that's what this is about. Yes on 6 is protecting us from, unfortunately, our government that has turned a blind eye to the waste and corruption to serve special interests. And that's why we're here out today to say no more, time for change. We want yes on 6 and we want our money back. Thank you very much.
Another statewide candidate running for state treasurer, Greg Conlon. He knows about those salaries I talked about earlier, the 6-figure salaries, the bus driver earning $227,000 a year in the Bay Area. He's not the only one. We have thousands of bus drivers in California taking gas tax money for 6-figure salaries. A lot of it has to do with unsustainable compensation packages, and that's one of the key issues Greg Conlon is running on to be our treasurer. Greg?
Thank you. I served on the Transportation Commission, and they borrowed $1 billion to fix something other than roads. And when I left 3 years later, that money had not been returned. And lately, they take $1 billion from the truck fees to do the same thing. So you need to vote yes on Prop 6 to correct these borrowings that never get repaid. Thank you very much. Greg Conlon.
We have other officials here. We have Santee City Council member Brian Jones, the chair of the Republican Party, Tony Kravarik, who's done a great job helping us out. I know some other planning board members. We have Judge Stephen Bailey, another statewide candidate I want to invite up. Let me just say about this issue. And we're going to be returning to this issue in the next several weeks of this campaign. What has occurred in the politicians changing the title on the gas tax repeal initiative is nothing short of criminal. It is criminal to take an initiative that is as simple as a gas tax repeal and to strike that simple title and replace it with a poll-tested title intended and meant to deceive voters. Who did that? Attorney General Javier Becerra did that. By doing that, he has shown that he is okay trying to dupe voters, confuse voters, depriving them of an honest and fair election on something they want. The polls show 2/3 of Californians want to vote yes on the gas tax repeal, but because of our corrupt Attorney General changing the simple title on that initiative, voters won't know what they're voting on, and many of them will mistakenly vote no. Now, we can change that in 2 ways, by this rally and other rallies to educate people on the mistaken title, the fraudulent title. But you know what? Let's never let it happen again. Yeah. Let's fire Becerra and let's elect Judge Bailey.
Thank you, Carl. He's absolutely right. Californians are being lied to by the politicians in Sacramento, and we need to make a change in this election. We need to vote yes on Proposition 6. Moreover, we can change the politician who wrote this lying ballot title and summary. We can elect a brand new Attorney General for California that's going to run that office as the people's office. Write ballot and titles and summaries that are honest and fair for Californians, regardless of your party, regardless of your philosophy. We need politicians in Sacramento that are going to be honest with the people of California. Thank you, Carl.
Now, I mentioned we got that deceptive, fraudulent, misleading ballot title on Prop 6. What we need to do is we need to educate all the voters. We don't have the $40 million and we don't have the gas tax funds that they're diverting to their campaign. We've got the message, and you are the messenger. So what I need each and every one of you to do is commit today to taking a number of lawn signs. Take as many as you can. Take them back to your neighborhoods. Give them to your neighbors. You're going to be the most popular person on the street, I can tell you right now. Everyone wants them. I want you to take door hangers. I want you to walk door to door. I want you to take business cards. I want you to slap them on every car in every single parking lot. I want you to take gas pump stickers, and of course, with permission, put them on the gas pumps at every single gas station. You are powerful when you raise your voice and educate your neighbors. You are powerful. You can take the fraudulent title on the ballot that the politicians slapped on Prop 6 to deceive voters, and you can correct that injustice. And I will tell you right now, I've heard from Democrats, I've heard from independents, I've heard from even some Republicans who said, you know, at first I was undecided, or I might have, you know, voted yes or no on the initiative because I think maybe we should raise taxes. I'm like, okay, that's for another conversation. But because they fraudulently changed the title, because they were trying to fool me and deceive me, they showed that they were not worthy of a single ounce of my trust. And so our most effective message in the closing days of this campaign is to make sure that voters are not defrauded of their vote on Prop 6, that they know that yes on Prop 6 is the gas tax and car tax repeal initiative, and that the people who are trying to dupe them, who are trying to deceive them, are the ones saying, trust me with more of your money. Now, we are going to win in this election if you activate, and I need you to activate like you've never activated before. I know a lot of people say, yeah, I'm going to go home, I'm going to do this, that, and the other thing. I need you to, for the next 2.5 weeks, to tell everyone, to email everyone, to call everyone, be aggressive and let them know. There is an error on your ballot. Prop 6 was intentionally mistitled by the politicians. A yes vote repeals the gas tax. And we're going to continue to absolutely spread that message every day. The politicians cannot stop us from spreading that message because it is the truth. And the more we spread that message, the more people will realize that they can never be trusted with anything, and we must shake up this state. Thank you so much.
Yes on 6!